Howdy folks, it's Untitled Chapter and welcome back to another X-Men 11 video. And if you're wondering why my voice is so groggy, it's because I'm doing a 5 a.m. flight in real life before work. I either couldn't sleep or slept really well. I'm not sure which it was, but I'm at 5, so I'm like, let's just do a video. Even though I sound funny, just because my time is limited and I want to be able to record for y'all. With that being said, after the next handful of videos or so, you might see another break in content because my family is moving to a different house and I have to do like a mild or moderate rehab on the house we're moving to, get the house we're living in ready, get packed, get moved, get everything set up. So if you do see a break in videos for a couple weeks, that is all. Or just because we're moving. So I still have a few videos planned that I'm going to get done, so it's not after this video, but after the next handful or so you might have another break. So just letting everybody know now so people don't think I quit or something. Alrighty, where are we? What are we doing? We're going through the aircraft one by one in my hangar. So next up is the Just Flight PA-28R Turbo Aero. In this case, the Turbo Aero 4, because the tail wing is really high. And we're using the turbo because we're in the mountains. We are in Joseph State Airport in Joseph, Oregon, and that voice you're hearing, that's not morning voice, that's allergy voice. So sorry, you get a double whammy. And we're flying a Pullman, which I do have the paver scenery for Pullman, which I've talked about at length in my Pullman videos, but super quick review. I typically don't buy paver scenery because then I feel obligated to use it. But I got the Pullman scenery because that's where my wife went to grad school. And she has tons of fun stories from grad school that I lived through vicariously. A lot of things she doesn't even want to tell her friends that she did. Those kinds of stories. And if anybody knew her, they would be shocked. And it would just be the tip of the iceberg. So, for nostalgic reasons, I paid for the Pullman scenery. It's outdated now. It's going to look cartoonish when we get there. At the time, it was absolutely top of the line spectacular. But it's going to be dated. It's going to look dated. And the fact you're watching this means that the sim didn't crash when we got there. Sometimes when I load old scenery, the sim crashes, but obviously it's okay because you're watching this. So, pardon for the allergy voice, the morning voice, but that's what we're going to do today. 107 nautical miles, give or take. If the real world weather, which is on, favors runway 5, we'll do the VOR approach. I love the VOR approach because you come at the VOR at an angle, and at the last second, you turn onto the runway. It's awesome. We actually did that in the 727. That was super fun, super challenging flight. I really enjoyed it. If the weather favors runway 23, we'll just use the built-in GPS. We will not use ILS. There aren't any clouds. So either the VOR for 5 or GPS for 23. So that's the plan. Let me zoom in super fast if I can remember how. There we go. Let's get this party started, shall we? All right, my menu is here because I hide it. Oops, I can't see it because of the tail. Come on, where are you? There you are. There. You can hide the menu with the mouse wheel, by the way, but it just happened the tail was blocking the little white line. We'll remove the chocks. There we go. We're going to remove, or we're going to shut the baggage door. And then from there, we're going to hop inside. And we're going to do our weight, fuel, and passengers, which is through the menu. Click on the weights. What are we doing today? It's us. I've lost a few pounds because I haven't been eating because of stress. And it's going to be our best friend who's a female. And yes, my wife knows that my best friend is a female. In fact, when I met my wife, I said, just so you know, my best friend's a female. I was like, I don't give a crap. So there we go. We're going to bring her 19-year-old. And we're going to bring her 12-year-old. There we go. And a bunch of snacks. And we'll just do half fuel just because it's easiest to do that because I'm terrible about calculating fuel. It's something I need to learn. All right, parking brake set. I don't know, is it? Where is it on there? Parking brake is set, bottom center. Controls to idle. They are. Make sure my rudders are working. They are. Oops, bumped my microphone, sorry. Battery on. There we go. Check the fuel gauges, half full exactly. Make sure our lights light up, turn the battery off. Trim to neutral, it always is, don't worry about it. Recharge the battery, we don't need to, because we haven't flown yet today, and no vapor lock either. Auto switch for the fuel tanks. Yes, it's automatic in this latest version. What that means, or it's automatically on to be automatic in this latest version. What that means is every 15 to 20 minutes or 18 to 20 minutes, depends who you talk to, the fuel tanks will switch from one wing to the other so you don't get lopsided. In real life, you actually have to flip them yourself. Alrighty, so we are going to close the doors now. We already closed the baggage door. Should we close this from the inside? Will it let us? It depends on the day. It doesn't work sometimes. So what we're going to do is that menu, which is I can't see because of the white colors. Shut that. What? Well, that's the baggage door. Jeez. Okay, there you go. And latched. And latched. Thank you. I have in the past flown with this door open. So I do need to check. Because we have flown with it open. I'm not joking. Alright, fuel tank selector now. To left. There we go. Where's my personal volume? It's off, I guess. Props forward. Throttles a quarter. Alt air close, which is here. Confirm avionics are off. And they usually turn back on when you load the aircraft. So let's just make sure everything is off. There we go. Battery on. Lights on. Fuel pump on low for turbo. Mixture rich. Yell. Clear prop out the window. Clear prop. Start the engine. Where's my hotkey for that? And this one you just flick and let go. You don't hold this one. There we go. Let's see. Make sure all your pressures are on. And come on. And rising, and let's say they are. Alternator switch, can't get there from here, is on. Confirm those pretty lights went out. And next page of my checklist. Throttles 14 to 1500, and that's exactly where they are. Look at that. That's experience for you. Make sure the suction is between 5 and 6 on the gyro, which is up here. Or 4 and 6, sorry, there's 4, 5, 6. Lean the mixture to avoid spark plug fouling. There you go. You can hear the engine change. There you go. And turn everything on. Why did that get up so high? Let's fix that. Let's see. Let's move that down and tilt it a little and reset that. There you go. That looks much better. Alrighty. What are we going to do? Turn everything on. We're going to turn on the GPS. Turn on the comms. Turn on that thing. Turn on this thing. Oh, they're not going to use it. Turn on that thing. Turn on that thing. And put that on there. There we go. See? Fun. Alright. Fuel tank left to right to left. Make sure it still works. There's right. And there's left. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sync gyros. I have it mapped to my keyboard, so that's going to spin around to match the whiskey compass. Alrighty. Have to do that every 20 minutes or so, because it will drift. Altimeter, barometer, yes, because we have real world weather turned on. So we are where? Right where it says U. Alright, click on the airport. Click on the weather. Light and variable, so we can use any runway, 2, 9, or 9, or 6. Where are we? I cannot see this. Let's see, what are we at right now? 2, 9, 9, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Alright, light and variable. Let's use runway 33 because that's where we are. We'll just taxi straight out, take off on 33. Very simple. Flight plan. Yeah, kind of. First of all, let's clear this one out. And we're going to go direct to Pullman, which is K-Pole. K or Kilo Papa. Papa, uniform. Where are your uniform? Whoa, I'm looking at a different screen here. Uniform and whiskey. Pullman. There we go. And for right now, we're just going to go direct. And once you're in the air and have cruise control set, once you have autopilot set, we will calculate, well, not VNAV, we'll calculate our approach based on the weather if we can see the weather. If we can't, I'll pull up SkyVector and get it that way. Always we'll load the approach, either the VOR or the GPS, and then we'll do VNAV from there. So, only 83 nautical miles as the crow flies. So it's going to be quick. We have to do a lot in a hurry. In fact, because of that, let's see if Pullman is on here. I don't think it is. Nope, found it. There's the VOR, and there's, so you take the VOR and quick at the very last second turn. So we can get our weather. What does it say? Wind 5. Is there an ATS? No. No ATS. So wind 5, 50 at 6. So runway closest to 5 will be runway 6. So we will do the VOR. Oh, it says runway 6 in here. It says 5 on the chart, but my most recent download says 6. So we will use the VOR approach. Nice. Unless that changes. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll load this and then turn that way. So let's do that now just because this is going to go so fast. Let's do a flight plan. Let's do procedure. Select approach. None. What? How can there be none? I know there's multiples. Procedures cannot be loaded. Oh, missing waypoint runway 5. Right, because it's now runway 6. So my nav data is 100% up to date. See, there's no message there. But there's a discrepancy. So the sim says 6, the nav data says 5. Because, you know, they update it every once in a while. So we're going to have to do it by hand. Nice. So that's fine with me. So we're going to keep that direct, but we're not going to use it because we're going to tune in the VOR. How fun is this? Okay, so let's do this just so we have a vertical approach. Let's put in, what is that? 2556. Just keep that in mind. Let me pull up on my phone because I don't want to stop my recording. I'm going to pull up the VOR chart, and through the magic of editing, I will talk about it. All right, first of all, let's see if we can add the, this VOR. I've never put in the VOR manually. Whoops, 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 touchy, touchy, touchy. Let's see if we can add this VOR. And then we'll just fly directly to it instead of putting everything in the radios, which is different from how I normally do it. Will it accept it? Yes, it will. Good. Okay, there we go. Yes, we'll go direct. I'm going to redo the direct because I like to. Yes, direct to the VOR, and then boom, onto that. And it says 34 degrees here, but it says 27 on the flight plan. So there's a discrepancy there because I have everything up to date, so I don't know. So what does this say? Does this show it? Whoops, 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 whoops. I don't think it's, oh, it might show it, but it's not going to be in detail. Okay, so we'll rely on this just to see how well it works. So that's going to take us to the VOR and then to the airport. Okay, so we'll just follow the purple line instead of tuning these things, which I normally like to do. But for today, let's just use this because this is a very new way of doing it for us. Okay, otherwise it's 109.0 for this if we were to use the instruments. But we're going to use the purple line. Good. Now, what do we need for altitude? The VOR, we're going to hit the VOR at 4,400. So we're going to do VNAV. And we're going to do 4,400 at the VOR at a descent rate of 800 feet per minute. Boom. And then once we're in there, that'll tell us. There. So everything's calculated. Normally we do that once we hit cruise and have cruise control set, but because it's going to happen so quickly and I want to sightsee with you, that's the other main reason. My main reason is it's quick. Second, I want to sightsee with you. I won't have time to do that. So we have the flight plan set using the GPS instead of the radios. It's basically the same thing that GPS is doing the work. And we have our VNAV set, and we'll see if the 34 degrees here versus the 27 on the chart. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see the airport long before we hit that VOR, but just know it's quick. You like cross that VOR and boom, you land. Because you come over this hill just south of the city. Again, if you want more detail on the city of Pullman, just watch my previous Pullman videos. You can search for them and hear all my stories. So there we go. No taxi lights when we taxi. So here we go. End of the runway. This is going to be a straight taxi. First set of flaps down. Mixture's back so we don't foul it. And there's a runway right there. So let's just do this together, I guess. So you can see the airport. Somebody put some work into this. So we will spin around here once we get lined up. And I know the videos are already getting long. We haven't taken off yet, but you have to remember, I remind people of this every now and then, flight isn't just about being in the air, right? There's a lot of ground time in both ends. There's a lot of ground time before and after. And we simulate all that. We don't just start at the runway and go. So we simulate everything from loading the passengers and getting ready to go, and all the ground work and the flight plan work, and then we fly, and then we land, and then we talk about that too. So that's how it works. It's not just being in the air, and it's not just about the landing. That's why I don't do rate my landing videos, because my landings, well, most of the time they're okay, but there are enough bad landings that I just don't need to rate them. It's not about the landings. It's fun, but that's not all. So let's stop right here so we don't disturb incoming traffic. Set that parking brake. Come inside. And props full forward, mixture forward. We're not going to do a run up. Check alternator battery lights to make sure they're on. Fuel pump on. Alt air to close. Props and mixture full forward. We just did that. Put that back in. Flaps 10 degrees. Yes. MIGs on both. Yes. Landing lights on. There we go. Trim in the middle. Yep. Door locked and latched. Pitot heat on. And what else here? Pitot heat on. Heading bug will set once we get there. Autopilot will set in the air. That's all this. We do need to set that to GPS though, speaking of autopilot. Course 347. That would be if you wanted to set that stuff, which we're not going to do. And then note the clock and the time. So we're going to pull out onto the runway. And we will note the time on the clock. We'll set that heading bug. Come on. Come on. Why is this taking so hard to get going here? Come on. Alright, pulling out into the runway now. So let's set the clock. There we go. Good. And once we turn the corner, we'll hit the heading bug so that we are lined up in case autopilot goes hey wonky on us. Set up our runway setting. Heading, I mean. There we go. Let's recenter and go. Come on. There we go. And your speed is moving. Boom. There's 40, 50, 5, 65, 72, and pop up. There we go. Step on the brakes, and the wind is what kind of cross? I thought it was light variable. Look at this crosswind. This is an insane crosswind. It said light variable. Oh, what the heck? All right, flaps coming in, gear coming in. Oh my goodness! I know this looks moderately rough and smooth, but I'm fighting like crazy to get this. Let's do that thing with the power to reset. There we go. There we go. See how my yoke stops shaking? There's this weird problem that happens every couple months where my yokes shake. Then I bring back throttle, throw it forward super fast, and then it smooths it out. So I don't know if it's a yoke thing or flight sim thing. No one else talks about it. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but you've seen on camera dozens and dozens of times. Alright, here we go. It's basically a fly straight out thing if you look at the GPS. So let's fly by hand for a second. Then we'll make sure to sight see before we get too far away, but we need autopilot to sight see. So let's fly by hand just for a moment. Good climb rate and everything. We brought the throttles back so the turbo light is off. And everything is silky, silky smooth. Okay. Since it is so smooth, not very exciting, let's do our autopilot. So we're going to do heading on, set that to nav first. Heading on, autopilot on. It should line us up now with the purple line. If I take my feet and hands off, and it is, I think. It usually works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's as simple as, this doesn't matter because we're using this to couple it to nav. Nav says GPS, and it's on. And then we'll hit the secret Alt Hold button, which doesn't exist in real life, but it exists here for convenience. Bring my props back a little bit just for right now. And then we'll do cruise. Anyway, secret Alt Hold. There we go. So what are we at? So we want to cruise. I think we're going to cruise at 7,000 to clear the terrain. So where's the 75? Let's do 75 to clear the terrain. And we'll check that in a moment. And this time obviously will go down very, very quickly once we level off. It's not going to be an hour-long flight. Just making sure everything is right. Yeah, it's following the purple line, right? Sure looks like it is. Good. All right, cruise checklist. Actually, let's sightsee super fast because we're losing the city. Sightsee super fast, and then we'll check the checklist. Oh, look at those mountains. Ooh, look at that. There we are, taking off. City in the background. Take a screenshot of that. Oh, look at that gorgeousness. Wow. And the mountains. There's your airport right there. That's gorgeous. I wonder what lake that is and what that looks like. Wow. Real weather. There's another city below us. What do our passengers get to see? Very nice. Everybody okay back there? Yes, Dad. Alright, hop up front. We have an airplane to fly. There is 7,000. Should we do 7.5 or should we do 8? Let's do 8,000. I normally don't fly that high on this thing, so let's do it. And then we'll check our VNAV and everything, and then we'll have our cruise checklist and some sightseeing. So let's let this get to 8,000. There's 800, 20, 40, 60, 80, 9, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 8,000. It'll level off. There we go. Very nice. Now our speed will increase, and that'll increase or decrease. So here we go. Cruise checklist. Let's see. Come over here. Fuel pump we could have turned off a long time ago, but I didn't. Pitot heat comes off. Landing lights we're going to keep on the whole time. Props back to third. Let's see. 28 on the manifold. Really? I like going really fast. 28 on the manifold and 2,300 on the RPMs. Let's bring that back slowly. There is 28 and 23. There we go. Good. Everything is good. Still following that GPS. Alright, half an hour. Now it's going to be that long? Okay, that's fine. VNAV. 26 minutes until descent. And procedure. We don't have one. So there you go. We're just going to cruise for a while. For half an hour, I guess. Top of descent is 26 away. And then we have that quick dog leg to there. So we're going to do some sightseeing now. A little bit for you, a long time for me. I'm going to make sure we clear that train. And I'll see you with more voice at top of descent. See you in a little bit. Alright, just a few moments here until top of descent, and I just want to point out that this river, you see, we have done a very detailed flight in the Beaver flying down this valley from airport to airport. There's a bunch of airports in this valley. Not exactly where I'm pointing, but there are airports in this valley. We flew from airport to airport to airport one day. That was very fun. Otherwise, 4 minutes to stop descent. It is. Alright, everything is good so far. So just to review here, our descent checklist, get the weather. We do need to update that. So let's check the weather one more time. Again, we're flying this VOR. Then this is a very short distance. It looks long, but it isn't. It's like immediate. Alright, it's still wind F50. So we take away that 0, and that's a 5. And then runway 6 or 5, depending which resource we use. We'll fly right into the wind. There may be a slight crosswind from the left, barely. 2993, 2999. It was 6 from before, so 6, 5, 4, 3. There we go. That would probably make us go up to, yeah, level off, whatever, doesn't matter. That's going to change a little bit. Alrighty. Otherwise, props forward, landing lights on. We'll do that in a moment. So landing lights on are already on. So throttles back to 15. Approach at 100 and turbo 100 knots. Approach at 100 knots. Fuel pump on 1000 AGL. Flaps down, gear down at 185 and 75. So if we look here, there's 185. Touchdown is 75, which is right there. Piece of cake. Let's see how much of that I remember. Otherwise, 2 minutes to top of descent, and we'll start coming down then. And it went from 1 minute 5 seconds right to descend to target. So there we go. So we're going to descend to target, which is 4,400 feet. In this aircraft, you take off, alt hold, and do you bring back props and it should descend? Or from, not props, throttle. Let's see if I bring back throttle, does it start descending? So normally what you would do, you would use like an IS hold, and then when you bring back throttles, it'll descend because it's trying to hold the same speed, and it looks like it might be doing that for us here. We want 800 feet per minute, and we're at 400 right now. So let's increase throttles back, or decrease throttles, and it's going up again. I'm looking at this right here. We want to get that down to 800 feet per minute. So I'm bringing back throttles, come on. There we are. Alright, there's 800, but it's going to keep going through it. Nope, stops right there. Good deal. Look at that. Wow. Alright, everything's good down there. Autopilot is still holding our path though. If we get rid of this right now, see, it's still holding our path. So that is very nice. 4 minutes to the VOR, and then it should be like right away. Yep, look at that. Not even, well, I guess it is a 6 mile thing. It doesn't feel like 6 miles. It really does. It feels like instantly. But I have to remember, the last time I did this was in a 727, so 6 miles do go by very quickly. Alrighty, so there's that. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here. Well, see, it's not staying at 800 now. See, it's coming back up. And we got to keep an eye on our VSR, which is this right here. It's lower than 800, so we're actually fine somehow. Okay, whatever. Aiming for 4,400. We gotta get, there we go, that'll make up some time. Now it's coming back up again. It's very weird. We should hand fly really at this point, but I'm letting Autopilot do it just so we can do one more thing of sightseeing, and then once we do that one more thing of sightseeing, we need to we really need to land. Alrighty. Alright, those are some quick views, but we have Pullman, the city right there with its own scenery, and the airport is right there. See, I told you to be able to see it long before we got there. So we need to get cracking here. What are we doing? We're still below 800, so we're fine there. Good. And we're at 900 there, so that's fine. That's a good compromise. Otherwise, it's just fly by hand in a moment. Aim for this VOR, and then a quick leg to the right. So you can see, here's your VOR, and boom, land. So if you're in a big airplane, that goes really quickly. So once we make our turn on the final, we'll slow down to 100 knots, and then let off first set of flaps and gear. And then gear, and what was it, 85 and 75, and then touchdown to 75. Alright, let's see here. I think we're good. I want to sightsee more, but we can't because we have to fly the plane. And I think what I'll do is I'll do autopilot until we hit the VOR, and then we'll fly by hand. Yes, so 100 knots, flaps gear, flaps at 85, flaps at 75, touchdown to 75. Okay, I think I got it. Alright, the airplane is going to turn itself in 9 seconds. Now 6 seconds. Alright. We'll let it turn and then we're going to take over. I just like using autopilot just to see how accurate it is and what it does, but in reality I love to hand fly as much as I can as well. Whoops, I just want to look up here. Where's that runway? See how we don't even go line up with the runway? It's this dog leg thing. You come in at an angle, then you go boom, and that way you avoid the city if you're loud. Although the GPS takes you over the city, but there you go. So let's get that autopilot turned off. Where are we at for altitude? 4,900. We're a little high, which is fine. Let's go props forward. Bring throttles back. And we're going to descend because, well, let's stay on that track here. There we go. First set of flaps and gear, and the wind is really affecting me, even though we shouldn't have much wind once you turn on to final. But look how much is blowing us to the left. Holy moly, rock and rolly. Let's keep that speed up. Oh my gosh, I can't even go to the right. Why is the wind acting so strong? When we land, we should be landing exactly into the wind. But look down here at our GPS. Look how it's blowing us so far left of our track. Holy moly. That's crazy. I just love this VOR approach though. So I'm going to try to keep us going. See, there's the runway right there. You aim for it, but you can't really land like that. You need an approach. It's very awesome. I love it. And there's your city of Pullman with your paver scenery. Doesn't look too bad actually. I like it. Again, we've done a detailed flyover and look at this with all the stadiums and the college and everything. So I'll just check out that video. You can search it. It is searchable. But there you go. That's all we really get to look at right now. We're getting a little slow for final or for approach, but that's because of the wind, and I want to be able to have more control here. So we're going to stay the speed. We're a little right of the actual published approach, but again, that's because we need some type of approach for the runway. But gears down. First set of flaps are down. We'll get second set of flaps in a moment here. Alright, bring back throttles, and then pitch up for speed, but bring back throttles so we keep descending. There we go. Second set of flaps. That's going to make it kind of crazy with this wind. Whoa, let's not slow down too much. Oh boy. Something's loading or updating. Alright, there's your city scenery. Look at that. Quick look. That's all you get because we need to land this plane. I might not use 3 sets of flaps on this because of the wind. Because we got a crazy wind on the side here. Oh, look at that scenery. There's your stadiums. That's where my wife went to grad school. So many fun stories. I have her tell them to me over and over. Oh, look at the WSU thing, the water tower thing. Alrighty, here we go. Look at that. We have 1 white, 2 white. Good. I just love this approach to this airport. 2 and 2. It is showing a little bit of crosswind from the left, which technically I guess there is, but there shouldn't be much. And there we go. Good speed, good glide slope. And as much as I want to look behind us and look at some scenery, we can't. So So let's see how this landing goes, because normally I land this plane great every time, but the last two have been kind of rough for some reason. Maybe just because it's been such a long dang time, but we will see here. Whoa, that wind did something. Alright, there's a final approach speed. Oh gosh, the wind is blowing to the right now, which it should, but not that much. There are your little bobbers on the power line, so you don't run into them. There we go, aim for those numbers. And a little slow for final approach, but I don't really care, to be honest, as long as you're not stalling. And here we go. We're going to bring throttles back to idle. And a little bit of crosswind, a slight flare, not much. Come here. It's a wide runway, so it's, oops. So it's going to feel like we're lower than we are. And that was terrible landing. Terrible landing. Dang it. Oh, wow. I don't understand what's going on. I used to have fantastic landings in this aircraft, and then the last three now have just been terrible. We were we're just too slow. We're just too slow. And then we stalled at the very end because it's a wide runway and I thought I was on the ground. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Oh well, whatever. Let's slow down here. Flaps are already in. And let's see, not sure where we're going. Maybe just straight to the FBO, I guess, right here in front of us. Alright, so can we taxi and turn off the landing lights? Oh shoot, I didn't turn pitot heat and fuel pump on. I was so busy looking at the scenery that I forgot those two things. Oh well. Oh well. The reason why you would have turned those on is if you needed to go around. You know, you want to make sure you got the full fuel tank and the pump on and everything, blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's stop right here, I think. Yeah, let's go a little bit farther here so that the wings are over the tie downs. Come on, just a little bit more. Little bit more. There we go. Set the parking brake. Alright, what do we need to do? Shut down parking brake, yes. Avionics, come off. Like so. Everything comes off, including you. Throttles to idle, they are. Mixture cut off, they are. Mags to off now. And stop the clock, 43-minute stop timer. So, there we go. Let's see, fuel pump off, all other lights off. That's off. Pitot heat's already off because I screwed that up. Remaining lights off. There are remaining lights in this one. Alt off. Battery off. Fuel tank selector to off. There we go. And open the doors. Like so. There we go. Just had to go down to go up. That sort of thing. Alright, let's hop outside and spin around. And then we will do the baggage door and the chocks. There we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the flight. Overall, it was awesome. We got to use the Vor Approach. The GPS got us there, and then we finished it manually with the winds blowing us all over the place. For how light the winds were, I was fighting them super hard. And then I biffed the landing, but that's okay. It's not just about the landing. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I certainly did. This scenery, it actually looks really good. I was expecting it to be more cartoonish because I swear at one point it was, but maybe that's just my imagination. So let's zoom out here so we can see the scenery. Well, we'll see the airport mainly. We're not going to see much of the town from here, but it's nice to be back here. I should use the scenery more. It's just we've already used it so many times. We've flown to all the nearby airports, you know, over and over. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I like the scenery. There we go. Now we can see the city. So hopefully you enjoyed the flight. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Play the algorithm game with me, and I'll see you next time.